I'm back at it again, and I think you need to understand the difference between tolerance and acceptance. When you tolerate something, you are dealing with it, but you're not necessarily in agreement with it, right? And you can agree with it for peace sake, or you can agree with it because you love someone, but acceptance means that you are in agreement with something and you are accepting it for what it is. You're in agreement with what it is and you're okay with it, right? When you accept it. I tolerate a lot of things. I don't accept them. And I also believe as a Christian, you have to love other people. You have to love people for who they are. It doesn't matter what they believe. So if they believe something different than I can, or than me, I should say, if they believe something different, I can tolerate that because you have a right as a human being to believe whatever you want. I don't have to accept it. And if I don't accept it, that means I'm not going to coincide it. I'm not going to coincide with it, and I'm not going to support it. Right? And I think that you need to know the difference between toleration and acceptance. You can tolerate the fact that you're in pain, but you don't have to accept it. You can do something about it, right? And so when it comes to like your family, a lot of people tolerate their family members, but they don't accept them for who they are. And then there are a lot of people who accept their family members, but they won't tolerate certain things about that person or what that person is doing. And so when it comes to me, I believe that you need to accept people for who they are, but you don't need to tolerate bad behavior. I think you should accept people for I think that you should tolerate what people believe, but you don't need to accept their belief system, right? Because it's their right to believe whatever they want or do whatever they want, right? God says it in the word. He says that a man will do as he thinketh, but God will determine their path, right? And so you can accept that a person is a certain way, but you don't have to tolerate behavior. You don't have to tolerate belief systems. I mean, you can accept the person, but you don't have to tolerate bad behavior or things that you know are not of God. And when it comes to life in general, if you are a Christian, it is not your job to judge people who are not Christians. Because at one point, you were not with God. You were not right with God. And if you were not right with God, it is not your place to speak on people who are not with God. It is your place to speak on your brethren and your sistren. Okay? Because when it comes to other people if you are not a Hindu, you shouldn't be speaking on Hindus. Right? Now, if you were a former Hindu, that's a different story. If you were a former Vodun, then that's a different story. But if you never did those things, you should not speak on them. And so I say all of this to say that there's a difference between acceptance and tolerance. And when you know the difference, then you can speak on things. But a lot of times you are in acceptance, which means you are in agreement with the things that people do. And you need to know the difference between tolerating and accepting. And on that note, deuces.